In search of a longer and more consuming project, I've decided to see how far I can get recording these, the Canterbury Tales. And since the general prologue is so familiar, I've decided I'm going to come back to it at the last and begin instead with the first story, The Knight's Tale. Here beginneth the Knechtes Tale. Iamque domos patrias githice post asperagentis praeria laurigero, etc. That's from Statius. Whilom, as all the stories tellen us, there was a duke that hichte Theseus. Of Athens he was lord and governor, and in his team switch a conqueror that greater was there none under the sun. Full many a rich country had he won, what with his wisdom and his chivalry. He conquered all the reign feminine, that whilom was ycleped Scythia, and wedded the queen Hippolyta, and brought her home with him in his country, with mutual glory and great solemnity, and eke her young sister Emily. And thus with victory and with melody let this noble duke to Athens ride, and all his host in armes him besiege. And certes, if it ne'er too long to hear, he would have told you fully the manner how wonnen was the reign of Femini, be Theseus, and be his chivalry, and of the great battle for the nonus betwixt Athens and Amazonas, and how assuaged was Hippolyta, the fair hardy queen of Scythia, and of the fest that was at her wedding, and of the tempest at her homecoming. But all that thing he mote us now forbear. He hath, God wot, a larger fade to air, and wake up in the oxen in me plough. The remnant of the tale is long enough. He will not let an ache none of this rot. Let every fellow tell his tale about, and let say no, who shall the supper winner. And thereafter he will again begin. This duke, of whom he make mention, when he was come almost unto the tune in all his well and all his most pride, he was war as he cast his seed, where that there knelled in the hay away a company of ladies tway and tway, each after each other clad in clothes black, but switch a cry and switch a woe they mock, that in this world ne's creature living that heard a switch another wymenting, and of this cry they know they're never stinten, till they the reigns of his bridal henten. What folk bin ye that at mean homecoming perturben so me festa with crying? Quod Theseus. Have ye so great envy of mean honour that thus complain and cry? Or how hath yon misbeaten and offended? And telleth me if it may be amended, and why that ye been clothed thus in black? The eldest laddie of him alle spake, when she had sworn with a deadly cheer that it was wroth for to sain and hair. She said, Lord, to whom fortune hath given victory as a conqueror to leven, not craveth us your glory on your honour, but we beseeken mercy and succour. Have mercy on our woe and our distress. Some drop of pity through the gentlesse upon us, wretched woman, let thou fall. For certes, Lord, there is none of us all that shene hath been a duchess or a queen. Now be we caitives, as is well said. Thanked by fortune and her false way that none start assured to be well. And certes, Lord, to abide in your presence here in this temple of the goddess Clemence, we han been waiting all this fortnight. No, help us, Lord, sith it is in thee meet. Ye wretch which that weapon wiled us was William Weef to King Capaneus, that staff at Thebes. Cursed be that day, and all away that been in this array, and maken all this lamentation, were lost in alle ur husbands at that tune, will that the sage thereabout lay. And yet know the old crayon wide away that Lord is now of Thebes, the city, full filled of error and of iniquity. Hey, for despite and for his tyranny, to do the bottes villainy of alle our lordes, which that been slow, hath all the bodies, and I hape I draw, and will not suffer him be none assent, neither to be I buried or I brent, but maketh hundes at him in despite. And with that word, withouten more respite, they fill in groof and creed and piteous lay. Have on us, O wretched woman, some mercy, and laat our sorrow sinken in thine herte. This gentle Duke doen from his courser sterte, with herte piteous, when he heard them spake. Him thought that his heart would break, when he saw him so piteous and so mad, that Willem weren of so great a start. And in his armes he him alle hente, and him comforteth in full good intent, and swore his oath, as he was trouwe knecht. He wilde don so ferfortly his micht upon the tyrant crayon him to wrecke, that all the people of Greece should speak how crayon was of Theseus he served, and he that had his deed full well deserved, and richt anon without an morbod his banner he displayeth on forth the road to Thebes ward, and all his host besiede. No ne'er Athenes wold he go ne'er read, ne tak his ace fully half a day, but onward on his way that nicht he lie, on Saint Anon Hippolyta the queen, and Emily, her young sister Shane, unto the tune of Athenes to dwell. And forth her writ, there is no more to tell. The red statue of Mars with spear and targ, the red statue of Mars with spear and targ, so shineth in his wheat barner large. The red statue of Mars with spear and targ, the red statue of Mars with spear and targe, so shineth in his wit banner large, that all the field is glittern up and down, and be his banner born is his pennoon of gold full rich, in which there was yet the Minotaur, which that he won in Crete. Thus read this Duke, thus read this Conqueror, and in his host of chivalry the floor, till that he come to Thebes and a licht fire in a fade, there as he thought to feast. But shortly for to spaken of this thing with Creon, which that was of Thebes king, he fought and sloch him manly as a knecht in plain battle, and put the folk to flicht. And be assault he won the city after, and rent a doon both wall and spar and rafter. And to the laties he restored again the bonus of her friends that were slain, to don obsequies as was though they geese. But it were all too long for to devise the great clamour and the waymenting that the ladies made at the burning of the bodies, and the great honour that Theseus, the noble conqueror, doth to the ladies when they from him went. But shortly for to tell his mean intent, one that this worthy Duke, this Theseus, hath Creon slain, and won up Thebes thus. Still in that fade he took all nicht his rest, and did with all the country as him lest. to ransack in the task of bodies dead, him for to strip of harness and of wade, the pillows did in business and cure. After the battle and discomfort tour, and so befell that in the task they found, though girt with many a grievous bloody wound, two younger nichts ligging B und B, both in on armes rocht full richely, of which two Archita hichtat on, and other nicht hichta Palamon. Not fully quick, nay fully dead they were, but be hier coat armures, und be her gear, the houdisk now hem best in special as they that weren of the blue royal of Thebes, und of sustrentuo I born. Out of the task, the pillows han hem torn, and han hem carried softer unto the tent of Theseus, and Hephaestus' son hem sent in Athens to dwell in prison perpetually, and nolde no ransom. And when this worthy duke hath thus done, he took his host, and home he written on with laurel crowned as a conqueror, and there he liveth in joy and in honour, term of his life, what needeth wordes more, and in a tour, in anguish and in woe, this Palamon and his fellow Archite, for evermore, their mine o gold hem quite. This passeth year by year, and die by die, till it fill ons in a more of my, that Emily, that firer was to sain, that is, the lily upon his stalk grain, and fresher than the May with flowers now, for with the rose colour stroff her how. In naught which was the finer of him twa, ere it were die, as was here wont to do. She was a reason and already dished, for my wool have no sluggardly nicht. The season pricketh every gentle heart, and maketh it out of his sleep to start, and saith, arise, and do thine observance. This maked Emily have remembrance, to don honour to my, and for to reason. Clothed was she fresh, for to devise. Her yellow hair was broidered in a tress, behind her back a yard long, I guess. And in the garden, at the sun uprist, she walketh up and down, and as her list she gathereth flowers, party wheat and red, to make a subtle garland for her head. And as an angel, heavenishly she sung the great tour that was so thick and strong, which of the castle was the chief dungeon. There as the knights weren in prison, of which he told you and tellen shall, was even joined to the garden wall, there as this Emily had her plainage. Bright was the sun, and clear that morning, and Palamon, this woeful prisoner, as was his one belief of his guider, was risen and roamed in a chamber on hay, in which he all the noble city say, and eke the garden full of branches green, there as this fresh Emily the sheen was in her walk and roamed up and down. The sorrowful prisoner, this Palamon, goth in the chamber roaming to and fro, and to himself complaining of his woe that he was born. Full oft he said, alas, and so befell, be aventure cas, that through window, thick of many a bar, of ear and great and square as any spar, he cast his eye upon Emilia, and therewith he blent and cried, ah, as though he strong and were unto the heart. And with this cry, Archite, anon upstart and said, cousin mine, what aileth thee, that art so pale and deadly unto say? Why criedest thou? Who hath thee done offence? For God is love, talk all in patience, O prison, for it may none other be. Fortune hath given us this adversity, some weak aspect or disposition of Saturn, be some constellation, hath given us this, although we had it sworn. So stood the heaven one that we were born. We must endure it. This is the short and plain. This Palamon on swear unsaid again. Cousin, forsooth of this opinion thou hast a vain imagination. This prison caused me not for to cry, but he was hurt rich no thought mean into mean hurt that will me ban be. The fairness of that laddie that he say, yond in the garden roaming to and fro, is cause of all me crying and me woe. In not where she be woman or goddess, but Venus it is certainly as he guess. And therewith on his knees doon he fell, and said, Venus, if it be the will yow in this garden for to transfigure, before me, sorrowful, wretched creature, out of this prison, help that we may scapen. And if so be me destiny be shapen, be etern ward to dean in prison, of our lineage have some compassion, that is so lowy brocht be tyranny. And with that word, Archite gan a spee, whether as this laddie roamed to and fro, and with that sicht here bote hurt him so, that if that Palamon was wounded sore, Archites hurt as much as he or more. And with a say he said, piteously, the fresh bote slaith me suddenly, of her that roameth in the yonder place. And but ye have your mercy and your grace, that ye may send here at a least away, ye none but dead. There is no more to say. This Palamon, when he the word is heard, dispiteously he looked and answered, why thou sayest to this in earnest or in play? Nay, quod Arcite, in earnest be me fay. God help me so, me least full evil play. This Palamon gan knit his browest way. It ne'er could he, to thee no great honour, for to be false, nay, for to be traitor to me that am thy cousin and thy brother, is sworn full deep, and each of us till other, that never, for to deal in this pain, till that the death depart, shall us twain, neither of us in love to hinder other, nay, in none other case, me leve brother, but that thou shouldest truly forthrin me, in every case as he shall forthrin thee. This was the oath, and mean also certain. I wot recht well thou dost it not with saying. Thus art thou of me counsel, out of doubt, and now thou wouldest falsely, being about to love me laddie, whom I love and serve, and ever shall till that mine heart sterve. Nay, certes false, Arcite, thou shalt not so. I loved her first, and told they me woe as to me counsel, and me brother sworn to further me, as I have told before. Nay, certes false, Arcite, thou shalt not so. I loved her first, and told they me woe as to me counsel, and me brother sworn to further me, as I have told before. For which thou art bunden as a knecht to helpen me, if it lie in the micht, or else art of false, I dar well saying. Thus Arcite full proudly spoke again. Thou shalt, quod he, be rather false than he, and thou art false, I tell thee outrely. For paramour ill loved here first ere thou. What wilt thou say? Thou wast not yet now whether she be woman or goddess. Thine is affection of holiness, and mine is love as to a creature. For which I told them mine aventure as to me cousin and me brother sworn, I pose up thou lovedest here before. Wast thou not well the olde clerk saw, that how shall ye a lover any law? Love is a greater law be my pan, than my behave to any earthly man. And therefore positive law and switch decrees is broken I'll die for love in each degree. A man mut need his love, mogre his head. He might not flame it, though he should be dead. I'll be she maid, or widow, or else wife. And eke it is not likely I thee leave to stunden in her grass. No more shall I. For well thou wast thyself, and verily, that thou and I be damned to prison perpetually, us gaineth no ransom. We strive as did the hundes for the bone. They fought all die, and yet her part was known. Wroth, there come a keat, will that they were so wroth, and bar away the bone betwixt them both. And therefore, at the king's court, me brother, each man for himself, there is none other. Love if they list, for I love, and I shall. And softly live, brother, this is I. Here in this prison mote we endure, and everych of us take his aventure.